What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. I'm here from Saeed from the United Central. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm not too bad, man. Thanks for having me on, man. It's been a eventful international break. Let's say that,
Yeah,
eh?
and it's gonna continue. So yeah, I just thought we'd get into it. So obviously, you guys are known to be in Champions League and Europa League for so amount of time. It's only our second time. So
Mm,
one of the things that we were going to look at is our first match on the 22nd of October is against Zorha Luhansk. I remember there
yeah,
was an incident from like 2016-17 that you guys had at that ground, because we
yeah.
honestly know nothing about that team, and we've been looking and all we can see is they're not the best team and they just seem to be surrounded by controversy. So what's your opinion of them from a Man United perspective?
Like similar to yourselves, they were kind of a team where we just didn't know anything about them, and for me, from what I can remember, it was a cagey game, very very cagey game because we only won 1-0. So it was a 1-0 win, very very cagey game. Mkhitaryan, I remember, got the winner. But all I can remember, very, very cagey ground, hostile ground. I mean, not many in the stadium, but just a hostile atmosphere. And I felt like, they're very, very, disciplined side, but very, very hostile stadium, deep into, is it Russia? Isn't it Russia? Deep in Russia.
Ukraine, I think, but it's
Yeah,
close
yeah,
to
it's
the
like a
border with
border. It's on
Russia.
the border. That's the
Yeah.
one. So there was a lot of but when we were going there was a lot of like tension of, the borders and whatnot. And yeah, it was obviously, there's a lot of tension at that time. So it was a case of, we had to go there and just get the result. So yeah, man, definitely cagey game. It will be for me a tense game, and also like they're very very physical battle team. But I can remember when we played them. I remember we played a strong lineup, to be fair, and just about got the 1-0, scraped the 1-0. Obviously won the Europa League and whatnot in that season, but yeah, I think it will be a difficult game because I think Leicester, they have a good 11, but I'm not too sure about the kind of squad. So I don't know if we'll have to reshuffle that around and whatnot. But yeah, I think very, very hostile. Like I said, we had trouble in the away ground. Lots of trouble, fan trouble. They were very, the Russian police, very, very hostile. So yeah, man, it wasn't great, but we just managed to get there, get the result, and get out there. I'm definitely sure Mkhitaryan got the winner. I'm
Fair
definitely
enough.
sure.
No, definitely. That was one thing we discussed kind of on a podcast that we did, like when we were discussing like Europa League and who we could get, and we were discussing kind of if we are going to go to the grounds, because there might not be an opportunity, but we'll have to see about that. But
Well,
it
they
looks
said,
like people have booked like for Athens, for Braga, another team that we've got, but is absolutely nobody's going to Ukraine after the incident that happened. The apparently with
no.
the mix up with the staff and the ground that happened over there when with the Man United fans.
Yeah, like it's not going to happen, and also the situation that's going on with Ukraine and Russia. It's a delicate situation. I still believe that I think there's a ground. I don't know what team it is, but they're playing in a different venue because there's still stuff going on in Ukraine and the borders of Russia. So yeah, it's one of them for me. Like very very hostile. But I'm not too sure. Are they allowing fans? Because they said only if the government allows them to. And if Ukraine and that obviously the border, if they're allowing for the economy to rise and whatnot, I don't know. Do you think that they'll allow Leicester fans to go?
Apparently, so the government said 30% of fans can go if they're not on lockdown, but only for the home fans. So you're not be able to get. I think the rules are just across the board. I don't know if it's Champions League, but obviously we've been looking at Europa League. That if the country's not on lockdown or the government's not on lockdown, they
Yeah.
allow 30% of fans in. So obviously you're not allowed to go over there for that game. I think we're at home first, so that should be all right. But
Okay.
just I think we're just a bit. I don't know if, especially because Leicester's quite diverse. I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we've got quite a few fans from like Asian and black backgrounds and stuff like that. And I think between the lot of us, we said we ain't going over there. It's not worth that to watch a football game. We just
No,
watch
no,
it
no,
on
no, no,
telly,
no.
you know.
Definitely. There's certain areas where you're welcome. Let's say,
Yeah.
what I mean, and whatnot, and it's just not worth the hassle and the kind of hostility. What I mean. I know I've been to Bruges and loads of places in Belgium and different areas of the world, and it's been very, 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 very welcoming. But you know what I mean? It's the unknown, isn't it? The unknown for me. You just don't ever.
So just on the other two people we've got AEK Athens as well. And I know you've got a little bit of knowledge about playing them and just a little bit of knowledge about that, because obviously we've mostly looked for the Premier League and Championship for the most time. So what are your thoughts on, do you think they'll be a decent team? Are they a good team to play against in Europa League as well?
From what I can remember, I think they've been like a steady Eddie in the Europa League. They've always been in like the group stages and they've always qualified for Europa League. So, you know what I mean? I think you can probably guess something about that. But apart from that, I think they're not the Olympiacos, they're not the Panathinaikos back at home where they have a lot of history. You know what I mean? I think they're a team where they're all right, you know what I mean? They're decent, but nothing that you'd be scared of, mate. Nothing that you'd be scared of. I think you'll have enough quality to beat them, mate. I really do.
Thanks. Do you know what? We just don't know what to expect. Obviously, Champions League was just a massive, literally getting relegated the season before, nearly, to getting then Champions League the next season. It was just like everything's a party for us. You know, when Huddersfield joined the Premier League a couple of years back, and they were like, we're just happy to be here. That's kind of how we were. So we played our socks off, but our form in the Premier League just dropped. So I'm hoping we've got the squad to kind of even it out a little bit as well. But overall, I'm looking forward to it, but I think you've probably said as well, we've not got the squad depth to really cope for it. And when you beat us last season to get the Champions League spaces, we showed that without a few key players, our team kind of falls apart a bit.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? I think Leicester got a good team, but I just think their squad is a bit lacking. I think, you know what I mean? I think Timberland's needs a bit of a rest. I think, you know what I mean? There's a lot of players, you know what I mean, that need a bit of a rest. So I'm just looking at it from the point of Leicester. I thought he would have brought in a lot of players to kind of suit the kind of, you know, the team in terms of need a bit of refreshness. You know what I mean? I think that's a bit lacking. I don't know if Brandon Rodgers maybe doesn't trust certain players. Like all he does, same with our manager, does just a squad. But I just feel like maybe he could have needed maybe not another striker, but a couple of midfielders in there. You know, I feel like you've got maybe free, but you've got Amate, you've got like, you know, Mendy, and you know what I mean. And then what's the guy with the afro? I forgot his name.
Chowdhury.
You know what I mean? They're good players, but I don't think they're like for like that can replace them and have the same effect. Maybe, just maybe, you can get away with playing maybe Vardy up top and then maybe playing in the actual. I think Europa League, the first qualifying round, so the first group stage, you can get away with that. But once you go ahead and start, you know, competing for the actual stages, when you play the likes of, you know what I mean, let's say Bayer Leverkusen on them kind of teams, then you start to know the quality difference, and then you need strength and depth. You need a lot of qualities. You need a lot of people who's going to give you 90% every game. Because remember, you play Thursday, Sunday. And it's like other teams, they get maybe a Friday game and then they play on a Thursday. But for us, it will be Thursday, Sunday. And it's a lot, man. It takes a lot on the players. So you need to be mentally strong to play in that. Really do.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you there. I think one of the example everybody's got to go by, especially for a team like Leicester, is Wolves, how they basically ran the same team, super fit, kept that same like 20-odd players, kept going through the Premier League as well. So they did really, really well. So
they had a big squad though. They had a big squad though. You got to give it to them because they had they bring in like sometimes Vinegra at left back. You know what I mean? They bring in, you know what I mean, Martinho, maybe playing Martinho in the cup games, and then, you know what I mean, other players will come in there. Then you had the likes of Adama, you know what I mean. Who else is out there? They had a lot. For me, they had a bit of a more of a balance. In terms of Europa League, they kind of do both together. But then they suffered in the Premier League, so I don't know if this will help maybe make something in the Premier League. You know, I mean, you hope not, because if you want to compete for the Premier League as well. I think Leicester fans can say that they're not a top 4 team, but they're aiming towards top 4, and I feel like they can do that. So you want that fine balance, you see. You know, you don't want to go gun ho in the Europa League and then find out yourself, because I feel like Mourinho has a big chance of winning it. I just feel like he's hungry to win a trophy. And that Europa League trophy is just literally, he can do it because of the squad he's got. So, yeah, I think it's possible.
I just want a good, obviously it's different now because we want the fans to be there. But this season, as you know, there's just Champions League, Europa League. The fans aren't there. It's just not the same. And also with Champions League, the money is completely different to the Europa League. Nobody really watches the Europa League unless you're like a fan of the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's one of them things where, you know what I mean, you know, when it played on BT Sport on a Thursday night, you know what I mean? When I think there's a famous City song called we play Wednesdays and you play on a Thursday night. You know what I mean? It's one of them things where Yeah, it's depressing, but I think it's just one of them things where when you get into the deep into the qualifying rounds, it's almost like a Champions League game, if you know what I mean. When you can
Mm.
play like a Bayer Leverkusen, sometimes Atletico Madrid can drop in there, Napoli, you know, with them kind of teams where can drop in for the Champions League. Because I feel like there won't be a lot of teams that will drop in. I think there's another group of death. I think in the Champions League where someone could drop in there. That's a very dangerous team. Man United could drop in there. You never know. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a lot of problems. You know what I mean? But you just hope that Rodgers got a plan, don't you?
Yeah, Rodgers has a couple of plans, but we'll have to see about that. I think one of the things, the last one I was going to ask you on is Braha as well from Portugal. So obviously
But
they're not,
yeah,
there was a big gap last year between Benfica, can't remember the other team who was second, and then Braha as well. Obviously, we did our research afterwards, but
yeah.
I don't know if you know if anything about them or if they would be
We
a
played
decent team to
them.
come up against, or because they're top seeded at the moment.
We played them in 2012, I think it was. Yeah, we played the Van Persie. We won, I think, 3-1 or 2-0. Can't remember, but Van Persie got 2 goals and we won. Decent opposition, very, very technical on the ball. I think they beat Wolves at home last season. So very, very technical team. So yeah, man, you expect Portuguese side to be very, very technical, very, very good on the ball, and expect a bit of a battle, a tough battle. So yeah, I think they'll be a good team. I think they'll be the ones where they'll be the ones to compete with you. I reckon. I think the other two, no disrespect, they're not going to compete, are they? For them two are going to compete. To be honest with you.
Yeah, because it depends on how seriously we go and actually take the Europa League. It's still to see because the problem is with Brendan Rodgers, he goes full out in like every single game, and that's one of the
I
reasons why we
know.
burnt out. Like we've got Diddy out for
Mm,
3 months from an injury that he shouldn't even have had to play in, but he's tore some, I forgot what it was, like his groin, so he's out for 3 months, which is a big miss for us. But just on Man United as well, so you guys look like you're in a bit of a group of death at the moment, and obviously your
yeah.
form's not been great so far. So you've got PSG, Istanbul, and you've got RP Leipzig as well. So what are your thoughts kind of, do you think you'll be able to qualify in the top two?
Mm, I'm not too sure, mate. I really am. I think I think they've got two better managers. For me, that's one thing. I feel like the way RP Leipzig stood toe to toe with PSG, for me, you got to give it to them, man. The way they stood toe to toe with who's the team that they knocked out? Was it Atletico Madrid? Atletico Madrid they knocked out.
Mm.
It's lacked the quality against PSG, but I feel like that's a team to watch out. And obviously, I mean, PSG they don't need any mention, do they? I mean, quality team all round. But I just don't see we doing it. I just don't think we have the team cohesion. We lack the kind of really mentality now. We want a good run at the lockdown. I just feel like it's going to be too much, man. Really, really too much for this side who are lacking cohesion. They're lacking a bit of team spirit. It's going to be a tough ask. I really do, but I just feel like we've got to beat our home games. Home games, you know what they say, home bankers. We've got to win our home games. If we get our home games, then you've always got half a chance, eh?
Yeah, fair enough. I think, but is Manchester, because I remember when I've been to Manchester United and the games around there as well, it's always an intimidating atmosphere. And I remember last season when we
Yeah.
came to you and we got absolutely wiped because of our young squad. They got completely intimidated by the atmosphere. So is it still the same now that lockdowns implemented? Because I think it's definitely changed the atmosphere of our ground.
Yeah, I think it has to be. We've only won once. I think twice Sheffield United, and then we won. I think it was Bournemouth at home and the lockdown. After that, we didn't really win any games. We drew against West Ham, drew against what's it called? Another team we drew against. I think it was Southampton. You know what I mean? And then obviously this we've not been won at home this season yet. So I don't think we're in the best of forms yet. I think we've been found out. I really do. I think Ollie's been found out. I think the players are lacking confidence. I think that's gonna be a massive this season. If they, you know, what I mean, imagine without fans and then you've got Mbappe running at you. You know what I mean? Normally, it's true though. Sometimes you have your fans can say, "Man on, come on, gather the team, gather the
Mm.
momentum." When you haven't got that and it's just player free player, I'm worried. I really am worried for them.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting season. I think one thing you've got on your side now is your latest sign, Cavani, obviously came from PSG. Do you think that is the signing that you kind of needed? Because it just seems like a last minute attempt, right, to sign somebody.
Mm, hindsight, you know what I mean? It's a wonderful thing. And would you have bought Cavani when you needed a kind of a kind of a better centre back, a centre back that could go alongside Harry Maguire? You know what I mean? Maybe some other further, maybe a CDM. That would have been more optional. But for me, it's just one of them, isn't it? You know what I mean? I think we've got to do what we've got to do, and Cavani hopefully can bring in the goals. I think you're looking at Jamie Vardy, still 33, banging in the goals. And I'm not trying to compare to Jamie Vardy, but I just feel like you just never know, mate. You just never know. And hopefully he can do the business. I think Zlatan scored. He came in and scored 30 goals first season. So you just hope that he replicates that kind of form. But I'm not expecting miracles from Cavani. I really am not. I'm just hoping that he kind of gets any type of service and we kind of make it over the line, really. I think top 4 is the minimum required for this football club. So I think if we get top 4, I think all this, again, overachieving. He really is. He should not be anywhere near top 4, but he is overachieving. So we'll have to see.
We'll have to, because there's a lot of good teams. I won't count Leicester just quite in that, but obviously Everton are taking off. Leeds are doing quite decent at the moment as well. Yeah. So there is a lot. It's the traditional top 6 has kind of not disappeared. It's kind of liquidated a little bit more, for sure.
Yeah, it's widened up as well. It's widened up the gap. It really has.
So I don't think we're quite in that. If we didn't have Europa, I would say we'd be challenging for that. But with our squad stretched, we don't know if we're going to get Europa League again. So we're probably going to put our eggs in basket for that one. But yeah, other than that, I really appreciate you, Saeed, joining. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, man, please find me at United Central on YouTube. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
No worries. I will make sure to like, subscribe, everybody, and we'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.